Joel, just turn on the TV to the news today, and you will see how easy it's to to grow. So, really, I think that what is driving your childhood and your early days as a child in Israel is that you are really focusing on news. Like everything that is around you creates your reality, and you have to find your way in much more difficult version than any other place because whoever if you grow up in US or North America or other parts of the world, pretty reasonable places, you can define yourself along the way. But here in Israel, because of the circumstances, you have to get the right tools and the right measures in order to really find where you want to grow. The news and the conflict, the Israeli-Arab conflict, is a major thing in Israel. And as you grow and you go to the army and you start your life, you have to navigate through these challenges. Not something you cannot do. Great people in Israel, great minds in Israel, but it's different to grow up in a saint area, in a saint island such as Canada, if you compare it to the Middle East and especially to Israel.
So you mentioned the army. So in Israel, there's a mandatory 3-year service that you have to do. Now, you spent 5 years there as a commander, as an officer. I'm not sure what all the ranks are. Maybe you can explain that. What it what is it like to know that you have to go and serve in the army? So as you're getting close to the time where you're about to start, are you excited? Are you anxious? Are you proud? What is that like?
I think that when you grow in a country that fights for its independence and its survival 24/7, it becomes natural for you as you grow up as a kid to go to the army. So there is no question of to go or not to go, to volunteer or not to volunteer, to make money as a soldier or not. These questions are not an issue in Israel. In Israel, you grow up and you know that when you finish high school, after the grade 12, you are going to the army. All you need is to look where you want to serve in the army and to get accepted to the specific unit that you want to serve in. So for me, I from very young age, I feel myself as educator, going to the youth movement, to the scouts, and you're not only part of the team, you go and you take the next step to be a leader in the scouts, and then when you go to the army, it's kind of the same. You start, you're a soldier like any other soldier, and then you want to find yourself up in the ladder. So it's not so much, to go to higher ranks. This was not my wishful thinking. When I look at my army service, it starts as an experience. You are 100% confident and you have the belief that what you're doing will help to serve your country. And the only state that you really need to fight for is survival. So when you grow up like this, you go to the army, and then you want to ask yourself, hey, what do I want to do in 3 years in the army? Do you want to be in this troop, in this unit, in this section? Where do you want to go? I always wanted to lead and serve and educate. So I find myself very in a very short time in a place where I lead the very new soldiers from high school and turning them into a soldier. It's a transformation to take people that are coming from the civilian life, kids that just finish high school, they think they own the world, they can do whatever they want at home. Their parents cannot tell them what to do. And here they have to adjust themselves not only to the discipline of the army, but also to do exactly what they are told. Because in the army, when you're not doing what you're told, there is a circumstance that you can find yourself in a very bad situation. This is not being in your neighborhood. This is not being even in your own country. Sometimes you are outside the country and you have to find yourself the best way to serve not only the country, but your own belief when you do everything that you are told. There is a lot of times conflicts Joel, for soldiers, there are a lot of time conflicts between what they believe they should do and what the commander is telling them to do. So what do you do?
Hmm.
What do you do? How do you gap this bridge? And the more the soldier understand the values and really identify himself with the values of the service, it's much easier. And this is where I found myself leading kids into the army, going, and then they go to other sections of the army. They choose their own destiny in the army, and I went from a simple soldier to be a commander and then to go to officers course. It was 6 months that I will never forget in my life, where you are again transformed. Your life, it's all about transformations. You go from one path to another, and how you grow and what do you learn? How do you take everything that you can around you to make you successful in the direction you go? This is what I was focusing, and after 5 years, I thought to myself, this is enough army life. Now I want to go to my next step in life. So in the army, it's very recommended experience, but it's definitely not for everyone. And you choose for yourself and your family if you want to be part of it or not. If you can, allow yourself not to be in a military surroundings, that's great for you. But in the end of the day, for myself, it was a great experience.
So for those that joined the army after you, while you were still there, what would they call you? They would call you Commander Zaltzman or Officer Zaltzman. How
It
does that
depends.
work?
No, it's never by the last name.
Okay.
It's always by either commander or by your rank. So if you are a lieutenant or if you're a captain, and I finished as a major, so this is how they call you. But I can tell you that in the Israeli army, it's not that formal. It's not like you watch all the movies and you see in the U.S. Army. It's not listen. It's in a very small country. People know each other from many angles. So this is also shaping the nature of the communication in the army when people are less formal and they fight together.